Hey everyone, this is LR. I am the creator of Feet First into Hell, which is a orbital drop combat sci-fi skirmish game that's currently on Kickstarter. But regardless of that, I'm doing a couple quick videos that are kind of like tutorials, learn how to play videos to give people an idea of just exactly where to start with Feet First into Hell. The good news is the rule set exists on a single sheet of paper, front and back. So it's not like there's a huge rule book that you need to learn in order to jump in and play. It's very short, very succinct, because that was my key principle when I was starting. I wanted to make sure that it was easy to learn, fast to play, and highly customizable. Those were my kind of watchwords, if you will. So in the last video, I covered the main player actions of move, shoot, fight, focus, recover, and retreat. The next video, this one, is going to cover reactions. So units generate one free reaction at the beginning of each round, which can be used at any time. Place a token to indicate that character has reacted, and I'm going to simulate that token with, I guess, a Tau token. We like this side, I think, when we play. So, and again, I have Leodrin here. He is my Primaris captain, I think. He's the leader elite unit of my drop team, Leodrin's Lions. He's got a plasma sword and a pistol, and he's wearing Aegis Armor Mark II, which marks him out as a really heavy super soldier. So, beyond Leodrin, I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Beyond just introducing you to Leodrin, I want to introduce you to the reactions. And again, they generate one free reaction at the beginning of each round. There are 3 of them in the game, and each one performs a particular role that helps keep the game dynamic and fresh. The first one is a dive. When you dive, you have to make a successful agility check before any shoot attacks are deemed successful. So as soon as your opponent rolls the dice, you say, "I'm diving." Right? If you wait too long and they figure it out, it's too late. The bullets hit. You got to act faster than that. So the dive, I have to make an agility check. So let's say that Recruit 722 over here, he's a rebel infantryman. He's going to roll, and I'm going to say I'm diving before I figure out if that's a hit. So Leodrin rolls, and he rolls a 6, which is impressive because he needs a 5 or a 6 in order to dive in all that heavy armor. So what that allows me to do is to try and dive 2 inches into cover, at least to get some partial cover from him. So I can go 1, 2, and unfortunately, I don't think he's really in cover, so he would still take the full damage. But let's say I was here when this guy shot at me, and I had rolled that 6. I could, in theory, dive through the door, and now he can't see me at all, which means that all of his successful rolls, if there are any, are discarded. So that's total cover. But what if I was here and I dove, and there's this barrel here, right? Let's say he's got a field rifle, so he's rolling 3 shots at me. And I say I'm diving, and I were to roll my 6 right away, right? I can get into partial cover where I'm partly obscured. And what that forces is this character, the one that's shooting, to discard the lowest successful roll that they have. He is an infantryman, or recruit, so he hits on 4s. So this is a failure. This is a failure, so I just discard those out of hand. And that leaves me with 1 successful hit right here. But because I'm in partial cover, I have to discard that, and I end up missing. It incentivizes either blast damage, or it incentivizes lots of rolling and really thinking strategically about where you place your troops. Because now that Leodrin has reacted, let me grab another one of my Eternal Dynasty characters. Now that Leodrin has reacted, if another character were to emerge from the blue, he could shoot at him, and Leodrin cannot react anymore. So you can pin people that way. There's one item in the game that allows you to focus fire, to make 2 reactions, but that's it. It doesn't go beyond that. And Leodrin doesn't have that equipped. That's called the Neurostim. I guess I'll probably do a video showing off all the different war gear. Sorry, it's late and I've had a very long day. So that's diving. Let me see if I can get through these other ones fairly quickly. So diving is entirely defensive. It really only makes sense to dive if you think you're about to get sprayed with a lot of hits, or if you know that if they hit, it's going to do a lot of damage, or if you have a very spry character who's not likely to hit themselves. then just get them out of the way and save them hopefully for a focus fire later. The next reaction is parry. Parrying is only done in melee combat. And like dive, it allows you to discard a successful hit, the lowest successful hit. So if Recruit 722 here were to try and mash my head in with his rifle butt, because like most Astartes, I have chosen not to wear my helmet. It's very useful there on my hip, extremely useful. You know, nobody wants a sore hip. He tries to club my head in, and he's going to roll a might check. And that is actually high enough to hit. So I can say, all right, I'm going to parry. And when I roll my parry, I'm making a might check against him in turn, and it allows me to discard the lowest successful hit. So he would just discard that, and I've basically stolen his action. Now, there are several weapons that allow you to make more than 2 dice rolls, and so they do get applied. And there's a melee weapon that does multiple damage on each hit, and the closer you are, the more it does too. So parrying in that case can really save your bacon. The last of my reactions that I have built into the game is retaliate. Retaliate is the fire from the hip, full Gears of War, angry charging fire mode. So I've got Recruit 722 and I've got Leodrin. Recruit 722 is going to roll his field rifle shots at me, and he's going to focus too. So he's going to re-roll that dice, and wow, just awful. He gets 1 success. These guys get discarded, and Leodrin's going to eat that damage from the field rifle shot, and in turn, he is going to shoot back with his pistol. I'm in range, so I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I'm right in range. And I only hit on 6s, but I do hit him once. So he deals a point of damage to me, and in turn, I deal 1 pistol shot, which is 1 damage back to him. He could react and try to dive if he wanted to, which is not necessarily the worst thing to do, because he might end up in cover. But then again, if he has already reacted, he can't do that, because you only have 1 per round. And he might also put himself in a worse situation. So it's up to you. Reactions can be used whenever. So those are the 3 reactions. They really help make the gameplay dynamic, because your plans can change based on what they're doing. You can dive to try and get out of the way, to get into cover, or to escape strafing fire entirely. You can parry in melee combat, or you can just eat the damage and retaliate, which is, you know, sometimes it's pretty epic, sometimes it backfires, because you won't know if you can deal damage until after, like you won't know if you can retaliate until after you've already absorbed the damage. So it's a little bit of a gamble, you know. Should I dive and get out of the way, or should I eat it, find out what happens, and then fire from the hip and yell? It's up to you. You've got 3 reactions. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 main actions. That's 9 possible interactions, and I haven't even gotten to the special actions yet, which is in the next video. So if you like what you see, you can either back it on Kickstarter or whatever, if it's still up there, or it will be available as a pay what you want for the basic field manual edition up on Drive-Thru RPG in May. I'm looking forward to getting the books out to people. I'm having a blast play testing. I really am enjoying this process, and I'm so grateful that people are into the idea. So I can't wait to get them to you. If you like gaming stuff, you can consider subscribing to this channel, where I'll continue to show off more about Feet First into Hell and some of my other game ideas. And I hope I'll see you there. Otherwise, stay fierce.